Hey YouTube, how we doing? Mike the Rinnai guy here. Alright, today's video we're putting together, it has been numerous questions that I've had on the piping, the near tankless piping for an RUR unit. Whether it was the older RUR like the RUR 98 or the newer RUR 199 Sensei units. I've had quite a bit of emails and quite a bit of comments about piping. I've had photos sent to me of contractors that have installed the piping and why isn't it working. So about 2 or so videos ago, I went to a job that we did an install of an RUR 199 interior propane, and I went through the whole piping arrangement. But it was done, and I was pointing it out. Well, I figured since I've had just so many questions on it, we're going to do an install. We're not going to glue it, and we're not making things up. And I apologize, I'm going to tell you in advance, the check valves, the first check valve that I pulled, I accidentally pulled a 1-inch one, so that's why it's blue taped. But I will mention it frequently in the video that this is only here for video purposes. Okay, but we do have one that I could show you, which is the correct one. And I'm going to go through the whole thing. Again, we're not going to glue it, we're not making anything up. It's all going to be dry fit. And I'm going to show you exactly what you have to do for the near boiler, or the near tankless piping. Okay, so here we have a mock-up on our tankless board. We have a valve kit, we have our cold water, we have our hot water, okay, you know, valve, service, relief valve. This will be below the tankless heater. It's raised up again for video purposes. We have a cold water line coming out, and we have a recirculation line. Your hot water line is basic piping. When you come out of the hot water side, you're just going to go and pick up the hot water pipe. Okay? So I have a mock-up here of the end of the line, which we're going to go over. So basically, it's going to come out of the tankless. It's going to go through the house, whether it would be 1 inch, down to 3/4, down to 1/2 inch, down to the last fixture, to a faucet, say. The cold water side is what is important. Okay, let's go over a couple of things. For starters, the check valves. You need 2 check valves. You need spring-loaded check valves. Here is the check valve. This is a spring-loaded check valve. You have an arrow. Let's get to the arrow. See the arrow? Right there. And then that is the flow. Push in, the pressure pushes it in. Anything backwards, it stops. This is a spring check valve. It could be put in the horizontal, and it could be put in the vertical. This is a clapper check valve. This is to only be used in the horizontal. This is not to be used on a tankless heater's recirc line. Spring loaded only. I'm not going to get into why. For starters, if you're in a bad water area, this thing is going to fail within months. This will not. So this here, the clapper check valve, okay, so you're going to tell the difference by, you're going to have this removable nut and this pin holder here that holds the clapper. And once I remove this, if there's a clapper and there's the arrow for direction, no, you are not to be using these. Spring-loaded check valves only. So let's get this thing out of here, and we'll continue. With the check valves, I like to put arrows on them. Find the arrow and put arrows on the check valves. All 4 of them. Put 4 arrows on the check valves with a black magic marker. Because no matter which way you put it in, you'll always know that what direction your check valve is going. So there's your arrow, and there's my little black arrows. Okay? That's a good little pointer. Put arrows on it. Again, find your direction and put 1, 2, 3, 4. Put arrows on it. You won't make a mistake when you're installing it. Remember, just bear in mind, the arrows are all going to the tankless. That's what you remember. Everything is to the tankless, to the cold water side of the tankless. Okay, so now, the piping. You have your cold water. So, oh, one other thing. I did not have enough of these. So we're using plastic CPVC male adapters. You are not to use those. You're going to use the transition. Cheaper, yes, but these will soften. And yes, under cold water, maybe not, but good practice and much better to use is the transition, which is the metal fused to the CPVC. I did not have enough of these to show, so I'm using these. But these are not to be used, especially on the hot water. They will soften. But if you get any back water, these will never soften. So use the transition adapter. It's worth the extra couple of dollars not having to run back to fix a leak and, you know, insurance to fix the water damage. All right? So, male adapter into the cold water side of your tankless heater. Then we're going to come down. We need to have a check valve here. Now, as you can see, you're not going to put the check valve here. You need to put the check valve here to the feed, all right, because you have to put a T here. So, you want to get a T. Again, all of your piping arrangements going to be different. You have existing piping, and then it might be a new house. If you're doing a new house, take into consideration what you're going to see here to compensate for what's got to be done. Now, of course, if it's existing piping, you're going to have to do some loop-the-loops like what you're going to see here. Sometimes if you're replacing a water heater, the pipes are up high, you can do this all. That's why the spring check valves could be put, you know, here with the arrows going down. Okay, so a T on the cold water. That T is going to take the recirc and here, but it's going to be put over here where it's going to go up into that. So, with this, we have to do a little loop-the-loop. So you're going to put an elbow on this, and then we're going to cut just a short piece of PVC. And then the check valve. 2 adapters, tape, compound, arrow going to the tankless. Now remember, we're doing a loop-the-loop here, so we have to go back around. Then another short piece. You have street L's, you could use the street L's. And then of course another short piece. Like I said, this is not going to look pretty. This is just to show exactly what it's got to look like. So, here's your cold water. It's coming out. It's coming from the house. You have your check valve going in that direction. This cannot then back up. Now, you want to get a T about right here to go straight up. Let's figure, we're just going to eyeball this, a 10-inch piece. And then we're gonna drop the CPVC. And we're gonna need something to go up into here. We're just gonna eyeball it. Hope we have enough 3/4. All right, so now you have your cold water, you have your check valve, you have it coming back around, and it's going to go up into the tankless heater. Now, this is where your recirc is going to go into. Now, what you want to do with the recirc is you want to put a bleeder on. So you're going to put this T, and then we're going to cut a short piece of 1/2 inch. An adapter and a drain valve. I'm going to show you what you're going to do with that. Then we want another short piece. Actually, I'm going to cut 2 because we've got to put the check valve in. And then we have a valve, check valve, again, arrows going down. Make sure the arrows are going down into here. Let's lift this up. Okay, and then we need one more elbow. I'm going to block the camera a second. 6-inch piece. Look at that, I brought just enough. And let's just tie that up right there. Ooh, look how much I got left over. That's it. That's your piping configuration. Can we get a quick line on this? All right. So your water comes from your main, comes through a check valve, comes along, we'll go up into the tankless, through the tankless, get heated, come back down. We'll come out and we'll come to your last fixture. So we're going to use some blue tape to simulate this. All right? As a matter of fact, let's do this. All right, I'm going to put some blue tape. So from here to here, that's your water pipe going through the house. All right? So out of the main, through the check valve, up into the tankless, water servo valve turns on. When a faucet opens, faucet over here, gets heated, comes out, and then goes all the way, all different keys along the way to the last fixture. Your last fixture should look just like this. The 1/2 inch line coming up, usually it's the vanity. Your 1/2 inch line coming up, or coming down and then back up to a 3/4 by half T. Why that? Because on an RUR unit, an RUR 199 sensor, or the older. A 3/4 inch line will handle, the RUR 199 on a 3/4 inch line will handle 400 feet. On a 1/2 inch line, it will handle 100 feet. So, 3/4 line. Now your 3/4 line here will now, let's go to the blue tape. Your 3/4 line will now come back to here. So this is now an unobstructed line. Now you could put T's in there if you had a big house to pick up other points of the house. So you could come, this will now come back and come right to here, which would then come down and then back up. You cannot go this way because the check valve is preventing you. The cold water cannot go this way, back up here to go here and make the, and then it'll temper the water. This here, the water is coming back warm, will now make warm water go into the cold side. So that's why you need these check valves. The check valves should be as close as possible to the tankless. Not over here on the other side of the house. Not when, if you have a house with a crawl space and this water pipe comes down and now you put a T here and you put the check valve here and now you run 125 feet of return line. No, you can't, it won't work. You're gonna back up water all the way up that return line, okay? The check valves have to go as close as possible to the tankless heater. Now, why this? When you install this, whether it would be brand new or retrofit, you're gonna have to somehow bleed it out. Now, if you looked at my videos, you'll see the bleeder ports underneath the cold water side, how you pop the relief valve, the bleeder underneath the circulating pipe. But if you put this in, what you're gonna do, it's like the way we used to bleed loop systems on a hot water systems with the gas boilers. You shut off this ball valve, which will prevent water from feeding this way. So water will only feed through the tankless this way, this way, this way, this way. Open this up with a hose. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Air, 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 air. Whoosh, whoosh. You like that? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then nice clean water. Now you bled the entire recirc line. Still do my video on the bleeding of the tankless because you don't want the pump, the tankless, to become airbound. Okay, then you shut this off. Turn the ball valve back on. And then set your parameters and set up the cycle of the pump, and you go about your business. So, let's just go over quickly. Cold water coming in to the check valve, up into the tankless, through the tankless, out of the tankless, through the whole house, all the piping, all the T's, to the last fixture, furthest fixture away. And again, if you have a tankless in the middle of the house and you have a master bathroom over there and a pool bathroom over there, you can put T's. You can go together to a T back. You just run 3/4. Unless your recirc is 25 feet and you really won't need it, a recirc, run 3/4. So, through everything to the last fixture, up, then all the way back, down the recirc line, through the check valve, and back in. And it'll get reused through the heat exchanger and go back again. And then the pump cycle, the way you set it, after you set up the parameters for economy or comfort, long loop, short loop, and then set up the times, either on the Wi-Fi, on the person's smart device or on the 195-US controller. Okay, so keep a good look at this. This is the I keep saying boiler because I have been a boiler guy all my life, and that's what we used to say was near boiler piping with the header and stuff on steam and hot water boilers. So, near tankless piping for an RUR unit. If you do it this way, you'll have absolutely no problems. You bleed it, you bleed the tankless out, you set up the unit to operate, you have the proper gas going into it, the thing will work flawlessly, and it'll work for 20 years without a problem. So, if you had any questions, or if you would like a drawing of it, I'll send you a drawing. Again, my email will be below. Again, this blue taped check valve was because it's 1 inch, and I did not have another 3/4. I grabbed the wrong box. I will include, these are ProFlow. These are Ferguson brand check valves. They're actually not bad. I will include the model number, and of course they're all of that new lead free. So I will include the model number of PFX SCVG. And why I did not read 1 inch on it when I grabbed it off my truck, I'll never know. But I will include the model number of the 3/4 one. Again, do not forget to use the transition adapters. The plastic was only used for video purposes, and I did not have enough of them on my truck to show. All right, so I hope this was helpful. And again, thank you for all of the comments and all of the emails. I really hope I've been very helpful to you. And if you like, please hit that bell, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. Take care now, and enjoy that endless hot water. Take care. Bye-bye.